Well, hey, welcome to another edition of Socrates Explains Everything. My name is Socrates. I like to explain things. We're here on a fairly brisk March day here in 2020. I think it's the 25th of March. Time kind of melds together with the quarantine. I took a little bike ride out to Brambrücke today. I was trying to get here the other day. I ended up, whoa, there's some wind. I ended up on the other side of this here river. And, one of the things when you're driving around or taking a bike or a car here in the Netherlands, you got to be careful on which side of the river you're on, because you can find yourself without a bridge, or a bridge too short. I don't know. Anyway, I came back a couple days later, and we're here right now. Had some food, and enjoying the beautiful view, and it's pretty darn chilly out here. Sunny, but cold. This is what the Dutch call summertime. Well, spring. Sometimes you can't tell, except for the calendar, and how late it gets dark out. So anyway, today I wanted to talk, eventually, a lot of ducks flying around, talk a little bit about corruption, and how is corruption affecting the world and capitalism itself. I think if you'll notice that there's a lot of, well, strange activity in the world. And unfortunately, corruption explains way too much of it. You know, if you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm not a huge fan of capitalism. I think that one of the weaknesses of capitalism is that it lends itself to corruption. Corruption is an easy and fast path to getting what you want. You pay a politician a bunch of money, he does what you want, everybody's happy, except of course the truth, morality, and the legal system. But with some more money, you can also buy the legal system or pack it, make it do what you want. Because what is a ruling? That's one of the problems I have with the Supreme Court in the U.S. right now, is that when you end up with a 5-4 vote, and you know which 5 will always vote the same way, and it's always down party lines, that's not justice. I don't even know if they should be able to consider something agreed on if it was less than a 7-2. It really should be unanimous, because if somebody thinks that's when 5 people say you're guilty and 1 person says, or 4 people say you're innocent, somehow that's not really guilty. Not if it's guilty, it's pretty obvious. It's the same problem with first past the post voting in England, or how the Republicans do it, as opposed to proportional voting, which is obviously more fair and democratic. If you win 2/3 of the votes, you should get 2/3 of the seat. Of course, if you win the most in the votes, you should probably win the presidency, but that's for another country. But today we're talking a little bit about corruption and capitalism, and how, well, corruption, it drains the life out of capitalism in so many ways. Corruption is supported by capitalism, but it's not exactly a driver, a useful driver. I describe it as it's basically a tick on a cow, and that's fine, because a cow can support many ticks. But now we've got a cow-sized tick living on a tick-sized cow, and that is not a recipe for long-time success. So I think the changes that we have to address include corruption. I don't personally have anything against corruption when it's done clever, because if you think about it, somebody who figures out, a criminal or a corrupt person who figures out a better way, a way around the system, they're thinking outside the box, they're innovating. That's a more useful person to society if you can harness that energy in a more constructive and less destructive way than the person who just goes to work every day and sits at their desk and acts like a little drone and has nothing to contribute. The problem is, this version of capitalism encourages drone-like behavior and discourages people who think outside the box and innovate. And I think that that's what I would like to see as one of the cores of any sort of pivot we make, is to appreciate innovation, appreciate the individual thinker, the person who can do things simpler, cheaper, better. Obviously, I think that you have to always keep in mind if you're causing destruction, especially environmental destruction or destruction to people. We're kind of important, at least to us. So I think that there's the path forward isn't impossible. You know, I mean, just go someplace that's beautiful. They're not that far. This is 12 kilometers from Amsterdam. Probably a little bit more from Central Station, but it's a beautiful spot. You know, take a look around, will you? So anyway, this is Socrates explaining why corruption has to be at least harnessed differently. You know, it's not the worst thing. You know, creative thinking is a good thing. We need creative thinking right now. We need more of it. Take care of yourselves, and I'm going to pretend like I walked off. Like the chord's going to imply I can't go very far.